Hey guys, Bren here, and I'm just going to give you 3 ways to help push through and get that habit into a habit, that new habit into a habit. So, as we say, usually there's the 3 stages of, there's a couple of different stages of forming a new habit. You've got the honeymoon period where it's nice and easy and you're all inspired, you've met with a new PT, or you've gone to a seminar or some workshop and you're all inspired and you're ready to go, and that sort of period is very easy, and that's different for everyone. The honeymoon, it might be a couple of days or it might be a few weeks or whatever. Everybody's different. So but usually that honeymoon period is very easy to stick to the new habit. So the trouble is that anybody who's been married for a while can tell you that the honeymoon period doesn't last forever. Eventually you've got to start doing the dishes and mowing the lawns and that sort of thing, and it's a little bit harder work than it was at the start. So that's the same with any new habit. So at this point, once you get past the honeymoon phase and you start getting to that phase where you might actually have some slip-ups, etc., this is where you need to push through. This is where you need to fight through that temptation to deviate from your new good habit. So how do you do that? So and then even when something becomes a little more second nature, even when you get past the stage where it's not new anymore, it's just something you do, like for example going to the gym 3 or 4 times a week. Before it was hard, at the very start it was really easy and you're all inspired. Then after a couple of months you got to the point life gets busy and it becomes a bit harder, but you push through that and eventually it just becomes part of your life, and you're going to the gym 3 or 4 times a week no matter what. But even at that stage you can have some slip-ups. You could have a bit of a plateau in your progress. You might be going along fine for 6-12 months and then all of a sudden you're not getting the same results you were, or even go backwards a little bit, or you have some disruption in your life like holidays or family dramas or something like that. You could even just get plain old complacent. You could just get, you think you've got this nailed and you really haven't. So whenever you get to that stage, whether it's just after the honeymoon period or whether it's even when you get to second nature, some stage you're going to have to do a push through or a fight through. So how do you do that? So the number one thing you've got to do is learn to acknowledge when you actually have a problem. So learn to actually understand what it feels like when you're about to deviate off your path. So, my thing that I do that's a bad habit for me is that I'm a bit of a night snacker. And if I stay up late at night, sometimes like you're in a trance, all of a sudden you just end up in front of the fridge or the cupboard. And like you say, hang on, how did I get here? You're not even thinking about it. You're just veering off into this bad habit that you've got. And you need to be able to understand and feel when that's happening. So if you can honestly acknowledge that you are about to go off your eating plan, or that you are about to have a snack that you shouldn't be having, or that you are somehow talking yourself out of going to the gym or making an excuse or something like that, you need to be really honest with it about yourself and recognize and acknowledge that it's happening, and not beat yourself up over that, but just say, okay, hang on, I'm about to deviate off this habit. So what's going on there? So when you can do that, then you can start asking yourself some questions and reminding yourself of why you're doing this. And that comes to point number 2, your big why. Now, your big why is the reason that you wanted to do this in the first place. So, there's an old marketing saying that, or a sales saying that you don't buy a drill because you want to drill, you buy a drill because you want a hole. So, if you've decided that your goal is to lose weight, let's just use the weight loss goal as an example. You don't want to lose weight because you want to lose weight. You want to lose weight because you want to live longer and be healthier, or you want to lose weight because you want to fit in that little black dress to go to a wedding, or you want to be more active and play with the kids, or you want to be able to join in a sports event or to join the team, or you want to travel and you want to be able to climb a mountain. So what's the big reason that you decided you wanted to lose weight in the first place? What is your big why? Now, the thing about this is that you have to have some sort of strong emotional tie to this. It needs to be something that your big reason for doing a big change needs to be something that has a bit of an emotional sting in the tail, so that if you didn't get it, if you didn't achieve that goal, you'd be quite upset. And if it's not a big reason like that, if it's not something that would hurt you a little bit emotionally if you didn't get it, then it's probably not a big enough why, and you might need to look a little bit deeper to find out what your big why is. So first thing, acknowledge that you can see you're about to go off track. Know what it feels like. Recognize that it's happening. Second, ask yourself, what is your big why? Remind yourself why you're doing this in the first place. Okay? Because if you can remind yourself of that, it's going to be a lot easier to get back onto the right path. So, on that, the third thing you need to do is, once you've sort of got, okay, this is my big why, you need to project the pain forward. So, take your big why and go forward 12 months, 3 years, 5 years. What happens if you don't get your big why? What happens if you don't achieve what you're trying to achieve? What will it feel like if you leap forward 12 months, 3 years, 5 years, and you haven't done what you set out to do? Will that be painful? I mean, if your big why is big enough, it will be, you know? So I'll just give you an example. That I had to lose some weight, and I lost quite a lot of weight. And I was told by a doctor that if I didn't lose weight, there was a good chance I was going to lose half my leg. They were going to have to cut my leg off at the knee. So that was a pretty big why, a pretty big reason to give up weight. So with that big why, if I looked forward, you know, if I was having a bad day and I looked forward 12 months, 3 years, 5 years, say, okay, well, if I don't fix this, if I don't change this habit, then potentially in 5 years' time, I could be missing a limb and had to have had major surgery. So that's a pretty painful thing that's going to happen. Now, you might not be as dramatic as that. You need to, it has to be your own goal. But what if it was something like, you know, if I don't do this, if I don't lose the weight, then I'm potentially not going to live as long and live to see my grandchildren and my kids grow up and achieve what they want to achieve. Or if I don't do this in 5 years' time, I won't have been able to travel overseas and climb that mountain. You know, so you need to be reminding yourself why you're doing it in the first place and what is it going to be like if you don't achieve it. You know, I'm a personal trainer who specialises in weight loss. Now, at the end of the day, nobody contacts me and asks me for help if they're 100% satisfied where they're at. So clearly, if you contact somebody like me, then you are somehow dissatisfied where you're at. And that's different for everyone, but whatever it means to you, you're dissatisfied for where you're at. So if you don't change, where are you going to be in 12 months, 3 years, 5 years? If you don't change, will you still be dissatisfied with where you're at? And what will that feel like? Okay, so if you've got that emotional tie, then it's a lot easier to convince yourself to not have that extra snack or not miss that gym session. So that's how you get through those push-throughs, guys. All right, try giving that a little bit of a practice. Next time you're trying to form a new habit and you find yourself deviating from that, acknowledge that it's happening, understand that it's happening, think about your big why, think about your reason for doing it, and think about what it will be like if you don't change that habit and if you don't change and get your big why achieved. Okay, guys, have a great one. See you soon.